day, dear learners. I am a senior teacher of the Department Modern Languages and Translation Studies, Kaldybekkyzy, and our discipline is British literature and the problems of translation. The theme of our lecture is the Old English and the Middle English period. The plan of our lecture, the evolution of English literature. The second part will be about Old English language and dialects. The third part will be about the key works of Old English literature, and we will conclude our lecture with the theme of Norman conquest and the Middle English. English literature's history covers a millennium marked by the linguistic and the cultural shifts. The Old English period, what started in 600 until the 1100, and the Middle English period, what started in 1100 till the 1485 period, shaped the English language and its literature. This presentation explored these periods, highlighting key linguistic, cultural, and of course the literary developments of this period. Anglo-Saxon origins. The Old English period began with the Anglo-Saxon settlement in Britain and ended with the Norman conquest in 1066. Old English, the earliest form of the language, was spoken and written. Literature was rooted in the oral tradition of the Germanic tribes. England was a largely pagan. Pagan, it means believing in several gods. But Christianization began in the 6th century. Christian themes permeated Anglo-Saxon culture, bringing the Latin alphabet and the Christian texts, which played a crucial role in the development of English literature. And the Old English period started in 600 till the 1100. The Old English language and dialect. The Old English was a Germanic language, different from the modern English in vocabulary, grammar, and syntax. It was highly inflected with a complex system of noun, declination, and the verb conjunctions. The West Saxon dominance influenced to the English language too. The Old English had 4 main dialects: West Saxon, Mercian, Northumbrian, and Kentish dialect. The West Saxon dialect, associated with the Kingdom of Wessex, became the dominant form, particularly in literary works. An epic poem about the hero Beowulf, who defeats the monsters and the dragon, it combines the pagan heroic themes and the Christian moral elements, reflecting the cultural transition in Anglo-Saxon England. The second our literary work is Wanderer. The Wanderer, an elegy and explored the themes of loss, longing, and the passage of time. It reflects the experience of the warrior who has lost his lord and comrades. And our third epic poem of this time is Seafarer. Seafarer, an elegiac poem reflecting themes of exile, isolation, and the harshness of at the sea. It also contains religious elements reflecting the growing influence of Christianity. The influence of Norman conquest in the history of England and in history of English literature is enormous. The Norman conquest in 1066 brought England under the Norman rule, introducing French as a language of the court, law, and government. This led to significant change in the English language and the culture. Over time, French and Old English influenced each other, resulting in a Middle English, which incorporated many French and Latin loan words, in other words, borrowed words. The language became the less inflected, and the word order became more important. The lands of the most Anglo-Saxon aristocracy were given to the Norman barons after the Norman conquest, and they introduced their feudal laws to compel the peasants to work for them. Thus, the English became the servant class. The Normans spoke Norman, French language. During the following 200 years that they kept coming over the England, they couldn't suppress the English language. Each rank of the society had its own literature in that time. The first, during the 11th and during the 12th and the 13th centuries, monks wrote historical chronicles in Latin language. The scholars at the Oxford and the Cambridge universities describe their experiments in Latin, and even anti-religious societies were also written there in Latin languages. The second, the aristocracy wrote their poetry in Norman, in French language, and at the last, the country folk made up their ballads and songs in Anglo-Saxon language. When we talk about the Middle English, popular Middle English literary works, we highlight the Geoffrey Chaucer's Canterbury Tales and the Sir Gawain. The Geoffrey Chaucer's Canterbury Tales is one of the most significant works in the Middle English literature. It's a collection of stories told by pilgrims covering themes including love, marriage, religion, and social class. Sir Gawain and the Green Knight is a Middle English alternative romance. The story follows the Sir Gawain as faces the challenges of the Green Knight, exploring themes of chivalry, honor, and temptation. Middle English literature reflects the cultural shifts of the time, including the growing influence of the Catholic Church, the rise of chivalric ideas, and the development of a more complex social structure. The literature of this period includes a wide variety of forms, including epic poetry, religious allegory, and the emerging genre in English romance. The legacy of Old and the Middle English. The Old and the Middle English period were transformative times in the development of the English language and the literature. The Old English period produced some of the earliest and most enduring works in English literary history, such as the epic poem Beowulf. The Middle English period produced a rich body of literature, including the works of Geoffrey Chaucer, and laid to the foundation for the development of English as a major literary language in the world. The Middle English period, which saw the rise of the English language in its modern form, produced a rich body of literature, including the works of Geoffrey Chaucer, and laid the foundation for the development of English as a major literary language of the world. And these early periods of English literature offer valuable insight into the cultural, social, and the historical context that shaped the development of the English-speaking world. By studying the literature of this period, by studying the literature of the period of Middle English, we can gain a deeper understanding of the values, beliefs, and the experiences of the people who lived in this period, in the medieval England, as well as an enduring legacy of their literary achievements. Thank you for your attention.